All right, everybody, welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Drew English. Just a short, quick little intro here. I'm trying to get back into doing some solo, shorter episodes that are different from the interviews that I usually bring you. So this is a lot shorter, but also a lot different. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get the show, please give us a 5-star review. That really helps us out. And if you're on YouTube, a thumbs up or subscribe to the channel helps us out there as well. I also have mentioned this before. I have a newsletter. You can find it at drewenglish.kit.com. Come on over, subscribe. I would love to have you. And without further delay, we're talking about success. You don't need as much as you think you do. Most people, creatives especially, think that in order to have big impact, you need tons of resources, a large audience, fancy tools and systems, or teams of people. This is why most stay stuck or look at others' success from afar, but never really make any forward progress of their own. You can do a lot with relatively little. Now, don't take my word for it. Let me give you a real-world example. I shot a short documentary film called The Ride of Your Life for a director who's a friend and longtime collaborator not too long ago. It's a profile piece about Serrata Cycles, who at their peak was making bikes for the US Tour de France team in the 1980s. I'll be sure to put a link to the film in the YouTube description and the podcast show notes. I hope you'll check it out, and I'd love to hear what you think. Now, sure, I'm sharing this film as a little bit of self-promotion, and because I want people to watch it, but it's a great example, actually, of what I'm trying to talk about here. The final product is pretty high-end, so one would think we had resources and budget comparable to the end result. The reality looked a little bit different. Here's what it actually looked like. The director Jacob and I worked for free. This was a passion project. We made this entirely with equipment we already owned. The largest crew we had was maybe 6 people for one day in a studio, and the rest was the 2 of us overloading a car and doing all of the jobs. Now, neither of us have a huge following either, but we were able to make the New York City screening a success by leveraging Serrata's industry clout in the cycling world. So again, no vault of resources, no large team, no big audience, just an overabundance of being scrappy and a willingness to figure things out. This is how I came up in filmmaking. Small and nimble crews making work that kind of punches above its weight against more resource-heavy productions. Of course, I'm not advocating that you work for free. Your time and your talent are valuable assets, of course. But you get the point. So all this begs the question, why do creatives feel they need more than they actually do to achieve the desired end result? Well, I think it all comes down to mindset. And while I'm confident there's many more points to be made here, there are 3 that kind of stick out to me, and I've dealt with them myself. The first is lack of trying. So let's be honest, people can be pretty lazy, especially nowadays. There's a big part of modern culture that's convinced so many people that success should be handed to them on a silver platter, or that things should come easily with minimal effort. I call bullshit. If you don't have any skin in the game, you're going to fail at some point. If you can't pull yourself out of bed every day with some level of urgency to succeed or better your situation, that's just a lack of trying in my book. Number 2 is outside influences. So for better or worse, we live in an increasingly connected world, a world where we're regularly confronted with the curated successes of our peers and people we admire. So in my industry, social media is rife with people showing off $100,000 camera rigs or huge sets that they work on, or an endless supply of lighting and new tech that they get to employ. It skews your perception of what quote-unquote normal is. That's not normal. Social media is flooded with people showing off because they want to be noticed. And the byproduct is that those who are just learning or trying to find their way through the mud are shown that the only way to make work of merit is to spend a ton of money and be surrounded by unlimited assets. Well, as we know now, that's just not the case. Lastly, there's underlying fear. Have you ever been afraid of failing at something and find that it's just easier not to try in the first place? I have. That's your subconscious messing with you, but it feels real. Sticking to the status quo is a far easier path. But is there any real reward at the end? Challenging the status quo is really the only way to push yourself forward. Putting yourself out there is scary. The possibility of judgment is scary. Knowing that you might fail is scary. But you know what's worse? Never even trying to realize your untapped potential. All of this can be summarized pretty succinctly in a quote from one of the better business mindset books I've read called 10x is easier than 2x by Dan Sullivan. Here it is. Committing to your unique ability, the thing you want to do and which excites you most, takes extreme commitment and courage. It takes not worrying about what anyone else thinks about what you do and how you live. You've got to fully bet on yourself. I know it might be a little bit of a stretch to go deep down a mindset rabbit hole off the back of talking about making a short film project with just what's at your disposal. But then again, is it? How you do anything is how you do everything, as they say. If you can't bet on yourself, to be resourceful in only the ways you know how, or be scrappy and fight the good fight to make the idea in your head a reality on the screen or on the page. What are you actually doing? If you want to make a film, grab your phone and go make one. If you want to write a book, just start and figure the story out as you go. Lean on people you know and trust to be collaborators, or at least a sounding board when you need it. Life is too short not to roll the dice on yourself. Now go make your thing. All right, there you have it. That's this week's episode. If you like what you heard, please give us a 5-star review if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get this show. If you're watching on YouTube, a thumbs up or subscribe to the channel really helps out the show as well. Thank you so much for being here. I'm your host, Drew English, and we'll see you next time.